Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ OG1. You're about to experience HabooTime.
All I wanna do is haboo. All I wanna do is haboo.
Coming from the Dunhill Hotel in Charlotte, North Carolina, welcome to HabooTime, the hub of new sports culture, with special guest, head football coach of the Clemson Tigers, Coach Dabo Swinney. The Ballers Roundtable featuring Morgan Cox, student athletes and public figures from around the globe. The Haboo Sound Off featuring DJ OG1, the official DJ of the Portland Trail Blazers. And your host, Eugene Robinson.
Today, our special guest is a wonderful coach. He is one of the premier coaches in the NCAA in football. He's from Clemson University. He is a two-time national champ, 7 ACC champ. He's coach of the year. The list really goes on, and he really is about making men, youth into men. We're going to welcome to the show none other than Mr. William Christopher Dabo Swinney.
Thanks for having me, man.
So, Coach, what was sports like for you as a kid, and what sports did you play?
For me, youth sports was a life jacket. If I hadn't had that life jacket, I probably would have drowned. And it gave me a connection to a lot of people. I mean, I had a lot of dysfunction in my family growing up, and my sports and my coaches and the structure that sports offers really kind of saved the day for me. Without that, I don't know where I would have been. But sports, I played 3 sports. I never stopped. I played year round all the way till I went to college. I was a shortstop in baseball and a pitcher. And that's all I ever played all the way through my senior year. That's all I ever played was shortstop and pitcher. And it was probably my most natural sport, and but probably my least favorite. And I started playing when I was 4. And then basketball was my love and what I was most passionate about, and played basketball all the way through, and was all region player in basketball and point guard. And then football was the toughest sport for me because I had to work. Those other sports came natural to me. Football, I had to work harder because, you had to be physical, and you had to get in the weight room, and you had to do some things. You had to do a lot more stuff that you didn't like to do in the game of football.
So, Coach, how did sports influence or teach or inform your life?
It gave me leadership opportunities. Sports taught me how to fail, taught me how to win, taught me how to handle success. But probably more than anything, sports brought authority into my life.
So any aspirations, a lot of kids have a lot of aspirations of making it to the next level.
I certainly had those aspirations. And I, as a baby of 3 boys and no college graduate in my family, no parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, no one, I didn't have any type of college foundation in my family. I didn't know anything really about it until I went. And, but I certainly grew up thinking I was going to, be Dr. J. I love Dr. J and MJ. And, as I said, basketball was what I really wanted to do. Thought I would play some pro sport. That's just kind of what you think. And then, but I knew that I had to the big thing for me was I knew if I got my education, then that was going to be something different from everybody else that had come before me in my family.
Well, that education is extremely important, Coach. And so when you decided to go to college, what was the landscape like? You mentioned about playing the multiple sports. So what did you choose and how did you choose when you got to college?
You know, football in those days, I think had 90 scholarships. And I was like, well, you know what? This is probably my best opportunity. And so I walked on the football team and the rest is history and, earned a scholarship and went on about my business. But when I got out there on that football field, I realized quickly that I wasn't in Pelham, Alabama anymore. And, everybody, you guys were bigger, stronger, faster. And I realized like, wow. But I also learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. And I learned valuable lessons. You can outwork people, you can outlast people, you can outwant it, you can out-persevere them, you can outthink them, and that's how I survived. That's how I made it.
So, Coach, I want to go ahead and pivot, and I want you to talk to us as a dad and a father, okay? How much did you coach your kids, or how much did you participate in your children's athletics, and what was your goal for your kids?
But I loved coaching baseball with them. That was so much fun because it was something we could do together. Because in football, I'm practicing, they're practicing. And then, just support them and just make sure that they're committed to the team. One of my greatest joys is I've been able to coach my sons. Both of my sons have come here to play football. And that's just been a blast because they just grind every day. And I mean, they love it. They love every aspect of it, from running sprints to lifting, to scout team, to whatever it is they're doing, special teams. They love every aspect of playing the game. And it's a true joy to me to see that in them.
So what is your greatest accomplishment when it comes to your family?
Somebody asked me, like, what's your greatest accomplishment? Outside of knowing that all three of my sons are saved, they know Jesus and they're going to spend eternity in heaven. Like, that's
Amen.
Because that's the decision they have to make. I think my greatest accomplishment has come as a dad, in that my three sons have grown up so much differently than I did. I mean, like Pluto and Earth. I mean, like, so differently, but yet they still have that same grit and grinder mentality.
Well, Coach, young gifted athletes and their parents, they all think that their child will play professionally. Can you speak specifically to the millions of kids who have this lofty goal of making it to their next level professionally?
And what I would say to these kids is don't let, your sport that you love become your identity. Your identity is in Christ. Your identity, you're going to be a man a whole lot longer than you're going to be an athlete, especially if you play football. I mean, first of all, only 7% of high school players play college football. 1.7% play in the NFL. And you're one of those 1.7. But here's the other thing. Only a half of that, like 0.08, get to a second contract. So, you're in like the 0.00000 whatever, Eugene Robinson, to play as long as you played. And so, so many people, they put everything, all their eggs in that basket. And what we try to do is teach them, hey, you're a great man. You just happen to be a good football player. The main thing for the youth sports is to develop and to grow and to mature and to have fun as you learn how to compete, but keep it in the right perspective. Because again, you're going to be a man a whole lot longer than you're going to be an athlete. So make sure that you keep the main thing.
Coach, you keep mentioning perspective, and I wanted you to take your take on what is it like to be a coach?
I think coaching should be called. You should be a calling, and I was just called to coach. I grew up again in a dysfunctional situation. The only person that I knew in my life who was happy, who always made me feel better, and I knew he made money, was my pediatrician, Dr. Goldblatt.
So you had aspirations, it sounds like, of going into medicine. So things changed. Did you ever think you would become one of the premier coaches in college football?
First of all, how am I going to pay for med school for 10 years? And then I'm like, I don't love this. I'm doing great, but I don't like it. I don't like what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. I was doing it for the wrong reason. I was doing it because I wanted to go make a good living. I was going to make my mom proud. I'm going to be the doctor. This is what I'm going to do. And And so I almost felt like I was giving up on my dream, but I really wasn't. God was just ordering my steps.
So, Coach, you worked for a well-known coach, Coach Stallings. So, no medicine. Why coaching? How? How did it happen?
Next thing I know, Coach Stallings is mumbling, and he's, Dabo, you need to get a master's degree. And I'm like, oh, Coach, no, I'm good. I don't really want to get a master's degree. He said, I said you need to get a master's, and I'm going to pay for it. I need a GA, and you start in July. It was like that type of deal. And I'm like, no, Coach, I'm getting married. I got a job. And next thing I know, I'm calling Kath. I'm trying to figure out how, my God, I'm going to have to call this guy, And so it was easier for me to call the guy and tell him I wasn't going to take the job now. And so I'm like, okay, I'll get my MBA. That'll help me. I'll be even more equipped. So I started coaching July of 93, and boom, it was like instant clarity, but God was ordering those steps and truly called me to coach.
Coach, you have this incredible platform in the lives of so many young men that you have as influence. So what matters to you? What is important?
And one thing I would say that's important to me, and I tell all these guys, is what matters to me is the 30-year-old version of them. Way more than the 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old.
Wow.
When I see them at 30, are they going to come hug my neck, or are they going to go the other way? And so that's how we run the program, and that's what it's all about here. It's truly about, my purpose in life is to glorify God in all I do, be a great husband, be a great father, all right, and to use this game, all right, that this platform that we have through this game to build great men. That's my calling. And because at the end of the day, that's what I always tell coaches. When we meet our maker, it's not going to be the X's and O's we knew. It's going to be the hearts and souls we grew.
We'll be right back with Morgan Cox and the Ballers Roundtable on HabooTime. Welcome to the Dunhill Hotel, located in Uptown Charlotte. It's the city's only historic and boutique hotel. The location puts you within walking distance of museums, art galleries, nightlife, shopping, and a wide variety of dining experiences. The Dunhill Hotel is Charlotte's premier venue for upscale events, including corporate meetings, elegant weddings, fun-filled family reunions, and executive retreats. If you're looking for a historic setting, sophisticated accommodations, and good old Southern hospitality, the Dunhill Hotel is the place for you. For more information, visit the website at dunhillhotel.com.
Welcome back to HabooTime. I'm your moderator, Morgan Cox. We just heard a great conversation between Coach Dabo Swinney and Eugene. Now we're going to find out what our roundtable has to say. But first, let's get to know these guys. So what'd you think? I mean, that was a great conversation between Coach Dabo. Probably learned a couple new things about him, too.
Yeah, so one thing that stuck out with me is he said he learned how to win and lose. And for that, I mean, you're not going to get every job you ever wanted. You're not going to, get everything you ever wanted. So when you fall down, you can learn from losing. And that really resonated with me.
Yeah, for sure.
I liked what he said about the authority that comes with sports and how it kind of keeps your life together and everything's kind of in check.
Yeah.
I like how he said about working harder because, you're not going to, it's not granted that you're going to make it to the next level. So you just want to work harder than everybody else because there's always someone that's going to be working harder than you.
I think that's a big thing to remember, too, as you play youth sports, you're supposed to be having fun, too, and focus to get to the next level, but it might not always happen.
That resonated with me, too. He said you can outthink, you can outlast people, you can outwork people, and that goes well because there's so many great athletes out there, too, so you can put in the work to equal if you don't have that talent.
Yeah. So Coach Dabo talked about what sports gave him. He played a few different sports. You see his boys grow up playing sports. What have sports given you guys when you think about why you're playing? We'll start right here.
So main thing is, like he said, opportunities. Without sports, I would have never thought about coaching. And my degree is actually in teaching. And they go one and the same. So I just look forward to hopefully coaching the collegiate level, maybe professional. But I really want to be an athletic director, and not only affect one team, but sort of affect the whole program and build it up. So yeah.
So with that, what is youth sports to you guys? Like, why are youth sports so important today?
I mean, youth sports, it really gives children and like teenagers a sense of confidence and a sense of belonging. So that's fine.
Coach Dabo talked about how he was going to walk onto the football team, or first it was baseball, and then he thought about basketball. What do y'all have to say about that? Did y'all know that he wasn't a scholarship student first?
I didn't know that he was obviously just a walk-on player, but I think that kind of resonates with the opportunities aspect that nothing in your life is really set in stone, so things can come at any time, and you just take what you get and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think it's good that he believes in himself because it proves that if you believe in yourself, like anything is possible.
Does that give y'all some motivation to see, the success that he's had as a football coach and the fact that that wasn't even his plan? Does that give y'all some motivation for your futures?
Yeah, it definitely gives you motivation. You just see how far he's come and how successful he's been. So, gives you some motivation to want to do the same thing and, go as far as you can in your career.
Yeah, and coaches, he talked about how coaching needs to be a calling, how, that wasn't something he was going to do. He's going to become a doctor. Can you imagine not having Clemson University with Dabo Swinney now? What do you think about that, with coaching being a calling?
So I was originally going to be a physical therapist, so similar to Dabo. And my advisor in college actually said, I took a teaching class, and he was like, "You're really good at this." He was like, "Have you ever, wanted to go into teaching?" And I was like, "Well, I really love basketball. I was playing in college. And I did play for, an AE team, and now I'm like, okay, I need to get into that." So I did pick up a team, and like he said, as soon as day one to coach, I was like, I love this, and I can make this my career. So that was my switch.
I think it's funny how, but that's sports.
Mm-hmm.
We game plan for this. We didn't game plan for him to hit 4 threes on. This guy's name was scout report. It happens. And I think sports give you that in life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to play baseball. I ended up being a basketball player. I don't want to know. I think that I want to be a Secret Service agent.
Wow.
100% honest with you. Man, my kids hate it because I'm so attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a Secret Service agent. That was my goal in life until I went to watch my brother practice and Joe Smith was in there dumping on people. And I said, you know what? I'm probably going to do this the rest of my life. The president had to find somebody else to protect him. And so that's really shifted for me. But I think it's great, what sports do for you as far as new challenge, like just take it and run. She just missed a shot. Okay, get back on defense, play another possession. So sports give you that as a young player and it prepares you for life. So I think that part was great.
Yeah, so it prepares you for life. I like that. I played sports growing up. I didn't go into college to play sports and I didn't play professionally, but it prepared me for different chapters in my life. But let's move into, Coach Dabo talked about an identity in sports. What do y'all think about that, having an identity in your sport?
I think one of the greatest stories for sports when it comes to identity was Stetson Bennett this year with Georgia football. This kid had no scholarships, was never ranked. You think of Georgia football, some of the names you can shout out. And this walk-on local kid leads them to the national championship. And his identity, he stated in an interview, I just shut my mouth and start working hard. I just shut up and work hard. That's my advice to people. So I think that's a big identity when it comes to sports and life. Just put your head down and work hard, and everything else will fall in place.
His story gives you goosebumps, when you watching that interview and hearing him. What about you? What do you think about an identity in sports?
Identity and community, I feel like go hand in hand. So while playing on the basketball team, I met coaches. A lot of the janitors started messing with me. It's like the small things that sports gave me, I feel like I can personalize with.
It really gives you the community that you talked about, giving you a community, I remember that in high school too. You make connections with people in the school, not on the sports team. And again, it goes back to sports preparing you for life, whether it's communication skills or shooting the ball. What do y'all have to say?
Identity means personality. So for me, I always wanted to like not have the same shoes as everybody. I wanted to have like different shoes. I have my own kind of way of playing. I have my own kind of style. So identity, I feel like is really big in youth sports nowadays. People want to, dress a certain way or look a certain way, and it makes them feel confident in how they play.
I thought one thing about the identity too is that once you're done playing football, then who are you? And I know a lot of football players struggle with that because everything has been indoctrinated. You've done everything. You have an itinerary. You know what you're doing. Everything is timed out. And when that's no longer that and no longer the fanfare, people are calling your name, who are you? Mm-hmm. And so not having my identity so wrapped up in my sport, so it allows me I'm going to be Eugene Robinson a lot longer than I'm going to be Eugene Robinson, a football player. That's only for a brief, short period of time.
I think it's an important statement to make, that it's hard when you go to the pros and you in that career. What is next? And someone that comes to mind is Tom Brady. We thought he was leaving, and now he's coming back. Which was, that was a big storyline, and whether it was planned or not, that's big for a pro athlete.
And he's a beast too, by the way. That dude can flat out play some ball, man. That dude's 44 years old, man. I stopped playing football when I was 38. That dude's 44, dude.
Blows my mind.
Blows my mind too. My goodness, I want to eat what he's eating.
Yeah, so we all.
Yes.
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. This was great. I was excited to talk to you guys, and I think it was a great interview with Coach.
We'll be right back with DJ OG1 and the Haboo Sound Off on HabooTime.
Let's go. Let's go, son. Come on. Do the move. Come on. Do the spin move like I taught you. Come on, son. Do the spin like we practiced at the house. Hit and spin. Come on. Pivot. Come on. Hey, coach, you don't need to take him out. Go ahead. No, go pull somebody else's son out. Not mine. Come on, son. What you doing? Coach, what? You know what? I'm the coach now. You don't have to put this on. Time out.
All I wanna do is haboo.
This is DJ OG1, and you are now tuned in to the HabooTime Sound Off. Y'all know what it is. Coming in at number 5.
Money ball by Mighty.
It's time to hit him with the money ball.
Coming in at number 4.
What's My Name by Fabio Ford, featuring Queen Naija and Cole and Lorraine.
Say my name. What's my name?
Coming in at number 3.
Up at Night by Kalani, featuring Justin Bieber.
Coming in at number 2.
Big Energy by Lotto.
I can tell you got big energy. It ain't too many of them that can handle me.
And coming in at the number 1 spot. Yo, crew, y'all tell them who it is.
We are the South Point Stallions from Football City, USA. And the number 1 song for this week is
The Motto.
But I wanted to remind you of what you said. He talked about winning and losing. And that makes a big difference because some people can be bad winners and some people can be awful losers. He said that you're going to be a man or woman a lot longer than you're going to be an athlete. And then the other one of the Haboo Nuggets, the last one, was working hard. There's no substitute for hard work. We want to thank Dunhill here at the hotel, no doubt. We want to thank our roundtable. Thank you very much for kind of joining us and your input. It was extremely valuable. Of course, our guest, Mr. Dabo Swinney. And as we end, make sure you keep it here. Next week, we got a special guest that's coming up. You don't want to miss it. So we'll see you soon.
listen to really calming music or just very flowy. I listen to her a lot.
Oh yeah, I love her.
So it's very soothing, and then I get some pump up music, get myself ready, and then I just pop it out and go, I'm ready.
Chris Brown, Silk Sonic, or J. Cole? Who you got?
Me in Carolina, so it's gotta be J. Cole.
J. Cole in the house.
J. Cole.
J. Cole. Yeah.